It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, that's your Comanche today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Another champion guide for you. This time, an all-around amazing control and nuker in RAE. Today, you're going to see what RAE can do in multiple areas inside the game. But first, a few shout-outs. If you want to see a champion guide here on the channel, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And thank you for supporting the sponsor of this entire project. It is Aura, all-in-one internet security and everything else. Financial security, basic VPN, antivirus software, all in one for an affordable rate. Try it out for 14 days for free using my link in the description below, and you can cancel if you don't like the service, but you will. At least I do. Anyway, Defenseless would love to see a guide for RAE or Herndig. We have Isaac. Would love to see a guide for RAE. First Lego, such a beast indeed, Isaac, indeed. Robert says I could really use a RAE guide. We have pork chop sandwiches, yummy, yummy. Looking for help building RAE, Biggin and Eleanoril. Thanks for all you do. You're welcome, man. Whiskey, what's up? No one talk about RAE as a nuker. I have her 2 years ago. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about her today. We're going to talk about her today. And, man, a lot of requests. Joel wants to see, Joshim wants to see some RAE. Brandon wants to see some RAE. So, yeah, we got it coming to you guys. So, who is this RAE that everybody's requesting? She's an old school champion in the game, but that does not mean she's bad. She's very, very good. She's a Magic Affinity Dark Elf Legendary Attack Champion. She has an AoE on the A1, 50% chance of decreased defense on her A1. On the A2, another AoE, 4-turn cooldown attacks all enemies, 50% more damage against targets under debuffs. And then on the A3, excuse me, you guessed it, another AoE on a 6-turn cooldown when booked, removes all buffs, has a 70% chance of placing a freeze for 1 turn. So we're getting control, an AoE on every ability, and tons of damage. Plus, the buff removal is really, really handy as well. All-around champion that can help out so many players. And let's not forget her extremely powerful aura. Speed in dungeons by 33%. One of the best dungeon speed auras out there inside the entire game. So she can help you out basically in any dungeon. You can use her in early level spider stages. Heck, you can use her in spider hard if you wanted to synergize with a hex champion. She's bringing the freeze. You could use her as a control and damage champion in spider with a burner on the team. But of course, you can use her in any of the other 3 dungeons as well. I guess Fire Knight would be her least useful dungeon because she does have a single hitter on that A1, so not going to help you out at all against that shield. But Dragon and Ice Golem, absolutely. But there's much more than just that. You can use her in Hydra Clan Boss. We can use RAE in, I love her in the arena, faction wars, you name it. So if we take a quick look at her debuffs, guys, we have a 2.5 multiplier on her AoE on the A1, a 4.3 godlike rating on the A2, or a 6.45 when they're under debuffs. That's really big. And then we have a 5.3 godlike on the A3. So again, even though her attack isn't super high, boy, the multipliers definitely make up for it. Today, we're going to go ahead, well, I'm going to show you the build right now. If you missed her base stats, guys, she doesn't have a lot of HP, 15k, but she does have a lot of defense for a nuker, which is really, really nice to have. It helps tremendously in terms of her survivability. So here is my RAE. We have her +3 in power. We do not have her awakened at all. So let's start with if we did have her awakened. I would probably go with Brimstone in PvE content. I mean, you can go in so many different directions, right? So Brimstone, if you're using her in Hydra, right? I might go Soul Reap. Soul Reap is an option in the arena. But you know what I love, man? The more I play this game, the more I awaken champions in this game. I have to say that getting the decreased defense on Cruelty is really good, and also Crushing Rend is extremely good as well, especially if you're lucky enough to get a 6-star blessing, not just on RAE, but on any nuker. I mean, ignoring a percentage of the target's defense based on level in any PvE area of the game at 6 stars on every hit is absolutely incredible. But for me, I think the safe bet is probably, Brimstone for PvE content, get some extra damage. She's got the AoE, chance of placing it on every single enemy on every single attack, or on one enemy on every single one of her attacks is a better way to say that. You'll see, guys, that I actually have her in a little bit of an unorthodox build here. You know me, I love stun sets. Now, if you're using RAE only in the end game, right? Maybe you've been playing for years, maybe you're a whale or whatever, right? And you're using it on like a blender comp, then the best way to go is Savage Gear or Lethal Gear to ignore enemy defense, okay? But I wanted to share, as I try to do with most of my guides here on the channel, I wanted to share a very robust, all-around build for this champion. Just because you don't have Savage Gear or Lethal Gear on a nuker doesn't mean they're not going to deal a ton of damage and hit very hard. Of course, that is the ideal way to go, especially in the arena, but in a stun set, still built out to be a nuker, she's going to deal a ton of damage, and she's going to be stunning, or have a chance at stunning, 18% chance on every single one of her attacks. Like a legendary version of Bellower, okay? Now, you do need to build her with accuracy anyway, right? The stun set does not require accuracy, but of course, her buff removal and her freeze and her decreased defense, let's not forget that on the A1, more on that in just a moment, are all going to require accuracy on this champion. So her base attack isn't incredibly high for a nuker at 1343, but she makes up for it, as we mentioned, with that high base defense at 1222. So the priorities on this champion are going to be crit capped at 100%, crit damage, survivability, accuracy. Do not stress yourself out with putting a ton of attack percentage on this champion. Of course, it's going to help. But as I always say here, guys, when you're going with a nuker in progression in this game, go for her worst stat, their worst stat, HP in this case, and do not be afraid going HP on the ring. Give them a little bit of survivability where it's a flat stat and it's not going to scale off percentage base. Scaling off a crappy percentage base, 15k is not that bad. There's some 10k legendaries out there. I'm looking at you, Nogdar the Headhunter. But still, we can go flat stat and scale that up nicely just with the flat stat. Plus, we got a couple rolls of HP here as well. We have crit damage on the amulet, excuse me. And then we have HP on the banner as well for more survivability. Now, accuracy on the banner, I think that's probably going to be where most players start on this champion. And if you have to go accuracy on the banner on your RAE build, then I would advise you to consider going HP percentage or defense percentage on the chest if she's dying. If she's staying alive, then you're good, right? Go ahead and min-max that attack. And that's where I like to start as a starting point when building out any nuker in this game. Start with some survivability, right? And if they're staying alive, and if your team around them is 100% successful in PvE content, then you can start slowly transitioning your HP and defense gear to attack gear. But don't start out all-out attack and have them die in even 20% of the time. You're just going to be throwing away your energy if you're losing those battles. All right, guys, so we have crit damage on the stun gauntlets. We have attack percentage on the chest, we just spoke about, and speed on the boots. We already talked about the accessories. Now, nothing wrong with going crit rate on the gauntlets and then looking for some crit damage as substats on the rest of your gear here. Obviously, towards the end game, that's another thing you can transition to, right? Eventually, you'll get your hands on good crit rate substat gear, and you can synergize that with crit damage on the gauntlets. Until then, nothing wrong, again, with going crit rate. They're still going to be doing a lot of damage as long as you have 100% crit rate on any of your nukers, especially RAE. When we look at the masteries on this champion, guys, now, I'm going to show you a little bit of... This build, by the way, with the stun set, don't think this is not an arena build. It's an arena build. Stun is super in vogue right now in the arena. I'm going to use her in a blender comp in a stun set. But because I'm going to use her in a blender comp, I have an 18% chance of stunning all the enemies that I face. That's amazing, right? Even if they have 1,000 resistance, it doesn't matter because the stun, again, there's no accuracy to resistance check. Just a flat out 18% chance at landing that. I could have gone the defense tree and gone with Fearsome Presence to bump that up to a 23% chance of landing the stun. But no. That's a little bit too much of a waste for me because I do want to take advantage of these offensive masteries on this champion. Now that I look at them, this is a very old build. let me reset and let's build her out together here, guys. Because I noticed one thing that I wanted that I did not have. I'm going to go crit rate, going to go crit damage. I want shield breaker, right? Especially all the bolster out there, shield sets out there. I want to increase my damage inflicted on targets under shield by 25%. For me, in an arena nuker, it's almost a must-have at this point. I'm going to go Ruthless Ambush as well, which I noticed I also did not have. 8% on extra damage on the first hit on each enemy. And then I'm going to come down for Cycle of Violence. And then let's go with Single Out. Let's go with Bring It Down. Most targets will have higher max HP. And then we'll come in with Kill Streak and we'll come in with Helm Smasher. Helm Smasher is still the way to go on this champion. It's great for against any champions, either in dungeons, like other mobs of champions, or in the arena as well. Now let's come down the support tree. Let's pick up a little bit of accuracy. Let's pick up some Charge Focus, some Swarm Smiter. Let's go down with some Evil Eye, Turn Meter Manipulation. Most importantly, not most importantly, but importantly, I do want to pick up Sniper on this champion as well, right? I want to bring that chance of a decreased defense on that A1 up 5%. That's really important for reasons that we'll talk about in just a moment on the team that I'm going to be running her with. Master Hexer, extend the duration, sure, let's go that route. So those are going to be the new mastery setup for this champion. This is applicable again in dungeons, and Doom Tower, anywhere basically, Hydra, as well as the arena. So that is the build, guys. Love this champion. Let's go ahead and try her out. Now, I've done a lot of talking about the arena, but before we jump in there, let's go ahead and just show her off in Faction Wars, right? So, Stage 21, Faction Wars. I'm running her with Ghostborn as our debuffer, Kaden as our reviver, Ryan the Conjurer as our other reviver, and Painkeeper, okay? A pretty realistic team. Ghostborn is not necessary on this team. He's easily replaceable. The nice thing about RAE is again, she does bring the decreased defense on her A1, albeit a 55% shot here. But look at that. Three? Couldn't count. 3 or 4. 3 freezes landed and more stuns landed too. I mean, that's some absolute, crazy control out of this champion, right? Here she goes again. Every attack that comes out from her is going to be an AoE. You guys guessed it. No stuns there, so kind of bad luck, but she comes back in here and does land a couple decreased defenses. Now, this wave is so annoying. So annoying. I mean, 3 Valkyries and a Warcaster who has block damage? Golly. Plarium developers, game designers, when you were making this wave, I don't know, you weren't doing us any favors, were you? So you can see again, she's helping out with those stuns. We would have loved to see a stun on that Warcaster to mitigate that block damage, make this run a little bit faster. But this is a great strategy for getting through these annoying Valkyrie waves, right? And you can see the damage is coming out very nicely there. Everybody's helping out. That was the Banish came in, another freeze, and here we are at the red boss. Obviously, your AoEs are going to be very helpful against these minions, right? These bosses' minions as well. Only lands 1 decreased defense on that A1 ability. And you can see on this team, it looks like she might have the lowest HP. Even despite all the HP, you see she's aggroing the boss. So if you don't want your nuker to be getting aggro on the red boss, easiest way is to bump their HP even more. So that's unfortunate. The good news is we do have 2 revivers on the squad, so we're going to be A-okay. So there she goes. She's going to be a little bit less effective, I would say, against bosses. She is the wave queen. We're talking ice golem. We're talking anywhere. A dragon, ice golem. We talked about this. Oh, she went down. She went down. That's too bad. It's okay. We'll pick it right back up. Hopefully. We have Painkeeper in there to reduce cooldowns. But where are my revives? Kaden. I mean, what is going on here? Ryan. Huh. That's weird. Did we get a... Wait a sec. What the heck is going on here, guys? Am I crazy? Why is nobody picking RAE up? They're finally Ryan the Conjurer. What is going on, man? All right, hopefully this team can... Oh, yeah, that was a nice heal from Painkeeper, man. We need to put out a Painkeeper guide here because Painkeeper is so much more than just a reduced cooldown clan boss champion, in my opinion. Is she like a super endgame champion? No, other than, you know, clan boss comps and any comp, Iron Twins that you're looking to reduce the cooldowns. But she's so helpful in so many different areas. I guess, you know what, now that I say that, I guess she is. In terms of a rare, she's about as endgame as they come, you know? All right, let's see how much damage we did here. RAE put out a clean 1 milli. Obviously carrying the brunt of the damage there on this team. Very nicely done, RAE. Came to shine. And again, that's in a stun set. She's not rocking the all-out nuke build with Savage gear. Let's go ahead and show this arena team. As I was alluding to earlier, guys, man, I love teams like this. I love blender comps. So we have Mighty Uko in a stun set. We have RAE in a stun set. We have Skull Crown. Is she in a stun set? I think she's in a stun set too. And then we have Fat Man. Farrakhan the Fat's going to be the motor on the team. So we have Fat Man absolutely in all speed gear with as much speed as we could get on him, right? So he's in, like, the rest of his stats, like, they're all right, I guess. Some of them are all right. But we don't care about anything other than speed on the blender comp. You can use any ally attack champion on a team like this, right? All we want is AoEs on the A1. Now, blender comps, we talked about this before on the channel, but it bears mentioning because we did a guide on Farrakhan the Fat, and we shared teams very similar to this. The order of attack when you do an ally attack, or when you do counterattack for that matter as well, it is not everybody at the same time. They go one, even though it might look like everybody's just attacking on the ally attack at the same time, they're actually attacking in order of position. Mighty Uko is position 1, Skull Crown's position 2, RAE's position 3, and then Farrakhan, well, he doesn't matter. He's position 4 though. So on RAE's A1, we have a decreased defense. Ideally, we would be debuffing before we are attacking, right? Now, I need Mighty Uko in the lead. Actually, I don't need Mighty Uko in the lead. I stand corrected. So we already want to change this team up. Why? I want Skull Crown in the lead. And then I want RAE second, not third. And then I want Mighty Uko in the third position. Because, again, we want to account for what they're bringing to the table on their A1s. Skull Crown is bringing on her A1, placing an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. So if we had Skull Crown going third here, the odds are that everybody have less than 50% HP because RAE and Mighty Uko had already went, right? So we want her going first so she can get that extra hit on. And then we want RAE going second because before Mighty Uko goes, we want to place a decreased defense on as many champions as possible, right? So she'll go second, and then Mighty Uko, who we're actually going to turn off. No, we don't need to turn off. Let's just set this as a priority. First choice. We want Mighty Uko to be going third, right? Because on the A1 here, decrease attack, it's not necessary to land this first out of the 3. And that is how you want to set up a blender comp. You want to really pay close attention to what these champions are bringing. If we didn't have Skull Crown on the team, we would just be running RAE in the lead because we want that decreased defense. So anyway, here we go, guys. Very tanky team that we're going against. We come in there and check that out, guys. Three stuns. 3 stuns, and then we froze their nuker. Not too bad. This is why blenders are so freaking good, man. They're really, really good. They can take, like, this is not an easy team that we faced here. Mighty Uko, Mithrala, Baron, Nekret, they're all endgame meta champions. And we came in here with Fat Man, Skull Crown, RAE. I put out a video on this recently, but this is the best way to farm your Great Hall in the game. And to me, RAE is an incredibly overlooked nuker to run a blender comp with. Maybe not, maybe you guys already know how great she is, but look at this stun synergy here. The beautiful thing is, even if we're not killing everybody on our first turn, between having all of my blender comp champions we can't fight a hegemon team because, I mean, we'll fight them for the hell of it, but you'll see why we have to avoid hegemon teams. And for that matter, avoiding Tormund teams as well, because they're going to block out our skills. They might mess up with the whole thing. They might block out the Fat Man, right? They block out the Fat Man, which they did. We're pretty much toast, right? That's why we have to avoid hegemon teams, okay? All right, guys, so I searched far and wide to find another kind of endgame tanky team. We have a Duchess, a Siphi, a Pythion, and a Rhonda. Keep in mind that Duchess and Pythion both have those damage mitigating passives. Let's see how many Stone Skins that we're going up against here. That is something to look out for. No Stone Skins, which is good. They do go first, which is bad. Here we go. We're going to remove some buffs. They get the cleanse, though. RAE goes in there, does some damage, takes down their nuker at least, buys us a little bit of time. They have 3 freaking revivers on their team, though. I did not want Mighty Uko to necessarily use that, but it's okay. We're still good. Can we take down Sify before she can revive another reviver? Yes, we can. Now it's all about going in on Pythion, and that's going to be GG's. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end of it, guys. Let me know what you think of RAE. There's so many different areas that we haven't even discussed where you can use RAE in the game, but she's really fun. I love her in blenders, and I love her as a control champion, but don't be afraid to just build her out. Super min-max damage if you're more endgame as well. Let me know if there's a champion guide that you guys want to see. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.